Look, the reason why you can't get past $10,000 a month in your AI agency is because you're just focused on the wrong thing. It's not about getting more clients, it's about making the clients you have worth a lot more money. Think about it. If you make a new sale in your AI business with a new customer on a 1 month engagement, right? How can you expect to scale to tens of thousands of dollars a month? The short answer is you simply can't, right? The math just doesn't work. And so, what I want to do in this video is basically show you how to take a client that you sell into your AI agency and make them worth a lot more money. And specifically in this example, I'm going to show you a live call of me taking a client that paid $250 for a basic AI automation service and then was able to sell him into a $3,000 package basically after 30 days of them experiencing the program all in one call. And look, like, I want to be completely transparent. This customer was not making great money, right? Their business was breaking even. In fact, it was even hard for them to get enrolled in the $250 program up front. They were skeptical. They tried a bunch of other companies in the past and never saw success. And so they also just didn't even get that great results. But with this process, right, that you're going to learn this live recording call, I was able to get them, right, to understand that they need more services to help their business grow, because if they don't, then nothing's going to change in their business. And so this upsell process will work with any type of AI automation service you're selling, whether it's low ticket or high ticket, just to get that person right across the finish line to buy another service in your business. And so before we dive into the live recording overall, you're probably wondering, why am I sharing this information? Why am I going to share this recording with you? And that's a valid question, because I'd be thinking the exact same thing if I were you as well. But here's the truth. I have an AI automation company called Gym Members now. We're valued at $5.448 million. I got a business valuation done very recently. In the last 4 years, we've done over 16 million in sales and revenue, and we've done over $5.7 million in profit. And I say all that not to brag, but to say that if I can help yourself and other individuals watching this video start, grow, and scale their business, and I can help just a few people be successful where they're earning and creating a business that is making good money, then we can take our companies together, potentially partner up, roll up, and I can sell my business for not just 5.448 million, but much more money. And at the end of the day, we can all win, right? A lot more people can win, and I can change more people's lives. So that's the reality of it. But this is what I had in the video here. Take some notes on the process here. Hope you enjoy, and let's dive in.
Yeah, there.
How we doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Good, good. I was waiting for you to jump in, and I was doing some work, and then came back to the Zoom, and you were in. It's good to see you. How was the Thanksgiving?
Oh, really good. I ate too much as usual, but other than that, was good. Still good.
What'd you guys have?
Oh man, traditional turkey, and of course you got to visit more than one house. You can't go to just one. So I ate at a couple different places. But yeah, almost everybody had turkey. One place had ham, and what else did we have? I think that's primarily it. Turkey and ham, different places.
Nice.
And then I think then my wife made smoked turkey. Like a day or two later, smoked it on our pit, and then we had that with our third family meeting, and that was good because of course I prefer smoked turkeys over just about anything. So we smoked ours. That was good. So anyway, past all that, now it's Christmas season, which means it's tamale season. So we eat tamale. So I'm having my solo tamales now.
Nice.
hmm
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear. I think the Cowboys play, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe they did. They pulled off a dub.
Yeah, just kind of gave up on them for this year. I don't think we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't care. Even if we have the highest paid quarterback and it's not gonna. Now he's in the hospital. I don't think we're making it this year. So I'm just pulling for the Longhorns now. So not Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That was a hell of a game with the between. It was a great game.
Yeah, it's just that both times that the opposing team, has changed quarterbacks, we've seen people falling apart. It's like we're not ready for that. It's like a new opponent when you're in a fight. They change it on you in the day of, and you're like, well, looking to fight a guy short 5'6". Now I got to fight a guy 6'3". Strategies change. I'm not ready for that. So it just seemed like whenever they switched quarterbacks, they just started, scoring on them, and so they finally got to. Yeah, I was upset. They should have won that game fairly easily, and because they changed quarterbacks, they just fell apart, and it was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was just
yeah. Well, I think the guy got hurt, so they didn't have a choice. Same thing happened against it was Kentucky or Kansas. When they paid them, they had a quarterback got hurt. The original ones put a replacement guy in, and he just marched down the field and scored right away when they got their first possession. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know football as well as I like watching it, but I'm not into it as much as I know all the formations and I know all the, not like I would be able to instruct somebody if there was a boxing match or karate or an MMA fight, where I could say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. I can tell when they make a mistake. That's about it. As to why, what formation it was, I have no idea. But yeah, there's something different that happens, and they're just not able to cope with new person that replaces them for some weird reason. Like I guess every quarterback has their specialty, and the team goes with what they do best, so it changes the complexity of the game, which I know a little about.
Sure. Oh, for
But
sure.
they just seem like they didn't prepare for that new quarterback, so we tend to fall apart, which I don't understand, but it happens, and it's happened the last couple of times. So if anybody wants to beat us, all they gotta do is change quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose for sure. They change quarterbacks. No. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I would notice about playing the Texas Longhorns. Every time we change quarterbacks, they lose. So let's change quarterbacks.
Yep. That's a unique way of putting it. Yeah, I did notice that they changed quarterbacks and things got better. But well, I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving as well. I want to make sure we can be having, we can be beneficial to our time here. It's 2:18.
Mhm,
We got the
mhm,
next 45 minutes here, but yeah, I mean, I wanted to, we're coming up on kind of the, close to the end of the month of obviously our service to you, and things have looked really, really good on our end, which I want to kind of review here in just a second.
mhm.
But we've been able to get you 9 5-star reviews. So we've taken you from 26 all the way to 35. And can you see my screen?
Let's see. I actually minimized them. Maximize it. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been able to absolutely blow out of the water for you. We got 9 5-star reviews, which is awesome. So that's huge.
Mhm.
Have you been able to reach out to these people to ask them for referrals with the script we've gone through?
Most of the ones that I went out and I've talked to, we actually had a couple that were more like, I guess you call them retired. They actually came by the school after they gave a review. Um, and just if they just came for one day just to drop by and visit, or looks like they're thinking about. I think y'all did also the 3-day giveaway, so kind of a combination of those two.
Yeah. So
That's right.
these are just this is specific to the reviews, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
So with that, like I said, most of the people, um, kind of gave me the same spiel that I kind of thought they would, which is most of them are like, well, I'll check first with them. I don't feel right giving them any information. Um, they were very reserved. I didn't really have a whole lot of luck getting any. Only one person brought a friend. Well, I should say two, and one was already a member. They really weren't going to change. They just kind of came just so the friend would, I guess because he offered a free workout or whatever. They came with him, and then another one, uh, they'd never trained before, uh, and they came in and same thing. They just kind of went through the motions, and then when it came down to the selling point of it, they brought up Christmas and New Year's and holidays, and they'll get back to me in the new year. So we had a couple of people uh, that were more, I would say, receptive, right? Brought somebody in, uh, but like I said, one of them wasn't going to leave his current gym, um, but they always talk, and so he came with him, and then the other one, really just again, I think this did it because their friend invited him, but didn't really, I think, they found it interesting, but I don't think interesting enough, right? They just kind of
yeah,
they came with their friend, so we didn't have a whole lot of success with that, but I will still, reach out to a couple of them because they haven't got back to me yet.
these are
Um,
reviews you're talking about.
write the reviews. So I'll get back with them again and see if we can, get a few more people out for them. But some of them
Yeah.
just,
Okay. So you got 2 people who come bringing their friends in. Now,
Mhm.
what was your pitch? What was your what was the incentive for the member to do so? And what was the incentive for the person to come in and try us out?
Well, they were, like some of the reviews came from people that are currently training, right? And so it was more of I was trying to find something that they would, like if they were more of in the kickboxing, uh, group, then I would, was offering them, a new pair of tie pads, which run over $100. and putting them in for a drawing of things they could win. So tie pads or new gloves of their choice. And then if they were into the jiu-jitsu, there's um, it's a $180 uniform that they can get, competition uniform. It's lightweight. They make it out of some lightweight material. Already has our patches on them. And it's the newer version of a game this they can get. So it's $200, almost $200 uniform. So those are the incentives to give that I gave them, or they can choose to enter into the drawing to win a year. But those are just kind of things that I offered them as a choice. If they did both again, they had their choices which one they wanted to be entered in as far as the drawing or the giveaway.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so what was the incentive for the referral to come in?
Well, and then if they for me, when I told them, okay, well, if you guys have any referrals, if you get anybody you refer comes in and signs up, I can get you a free hoodie. So the hoodies are $60. So if they came in, signed up for the referrals, then I would get them a hoodie for free if the person signed up who they brought or referred.
Okay.
And if they have to do again, they can opt for something else. But I tried just to push the hoodie at first or T-shirt, because I'm the one wear hoodies. I said, well, if you don't like the hoodies, we can get you something different. You need a pair of gloves. They can opt for the more expensive gloves. Yeah, I didn't want what they think. Again, it just depends on who the referrals. It was more of a them trying to get more people in the door.
Yeah.
So we're
trying it's just another way to get people in the door.
Right. So just to more or less told them that they signed up, but getting people in the door is like, in other words, it was more of them signing up, when they referred them, more so than just they still got their name entered, like you said, for the year you're drawing, just referring people, and then the drawing I'm trying to have a little bit later on in the year, after we do a couple of different things with them, more like have it during the summer, something like that, where we drop their name in the hat and draw from that. So it's still going to come from referrals, either the ones we're doing now or later on we'll do a different thing in the school. If they had somebody on out at the end of class, if they have somebody coming in or can refer people for us to call, so we're trying to do that at the end of each class. And because the people who are leaving are there, and then the ones that are about to start the next class are there. So we kind of are trying to do that as an announcement as well.
Okay. So how many people, did you contact all these people that left reviews?
No, some of them I tried to reach out to, but I haven't heard back from them. So I got to reach out again. So some of they did leave a message, but they haven't got back to me yet. So
okay. Well, I mean, do you see the value of going from 26 to 35 pretty much in a month?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it not only did the people that you contacted for the review, like I said, some of them haven't been to the gym in probably 6 months, and they came in and started training again. But they just think, oh wait, no, I did have a membership, or oh, I guess I should go back. So a lot of
that was for the reviews, correct? For the referrals.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So I've got a couple thoughts here, but that makes sense. Now obviously the benefit to this as well is that your SEO should be improved. So if people look up anything like that, you should be ranking higher, which means you should be getting more more organic traffic. Now that's all dependent on if you have your website, dialed in for conversions. So I mean, right now I think there's some area of opportunity with this to actually get conversions. Leads is what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But we can kind of dive into that in a second. So cool, awesome. Well, that makes sense. I've got a couple thoughts. With the referrals that you kind of came in the facility. Other thing I want to go through, right, is just your dashboard on your software account here. We were able to book 24 new appointments. The past members or prospects you had. So how did those appointments go with those people that came in?
Well, like I said, I think that even the guy, it was great. Loved it, had a great time. But for the most part, like I told the guy who brought him,
we booked 20. So from your prospect and an active member, we booked in 24 new appointments that came in. So how many people did you see that actually booked, and then how many did you convert into members?
Okay. Well, we had there were some that I'd say a lot of them, right? Hold on, I was going to actually get this paper out because there was a girl and her son that were training with us probably a couple of years ago, and he was probably at the time he was 5, so it was 3 years ago because he's 8 now. So they came back, and the mom used to train with me when she was a teenager, and then she came back with him. So they worked out before the holidays. So right after they got it booked them, they came in. Now, most of the people that I've talked to, like I think you were looking for, times that they could come in and, that, and of course, everybody that I've worked with said the more open your calendar is, the more people will get in to do the sessions. And I get that, right? But like I was telling you, I don't really go into town, because usually I'll take my wife with us, and that way we don't spend twice the gas. Um, you know, we go in only at the end of the evening or during the class times. And then I have a gentleman that works during one of our afternoon classes, and he goes and does that class. But other than that, nobody's really there unless we're having class time. If the class is really kind of an odd, like 9 a.m. Friday, right? Class, then what I would do is just get hold of the person, because they're obviously not picking up a physical item for the 3-day pass. They're just well, or maybe they feel that way. But yeah, when I explain to them that they're getting their 3 days, not a problem. This is our schedule. When we book them for their class, right? So have them coming in during a class time, with to kind of help with their 3-day program, is usually what I did next. Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well,
uh,
all I'm concerned about, because that just tells you everything. Let's just go.
as of right now, we didn't have any people that booked it. Most of them, I mean, that signed up, most of them are gonna, obviously tell me. Like the girl told me that she's gonna talk to the boy's dad about, helping out with the membership, and so they came in for just that one class at one day. And then some of the other people, same thing. I think the holidays are what's messing everybody up, or giving them an excuse not to sign up that day they come in. So as far as conversion from, okay, hey, I set an appointment, I'm going to be in. We've had 3 people that have come in from the appointments that we've set, and none of them have so far committed to, as far as financially, to getting in the program.
So
So
you had 24 appointments and 3 people come in.
right,
Okay. Did you call any of the people to confirm the appointment day of?
yeah, day of I called, and most of the people that take them to go straight to voicemail, so I would just text them the reminder of their appointment, and just if they're because most of them, these people have been to our gym before, or if they did not make it even when we had put them in the system, then I just reminded them to just come on in. They don't really need anything as far as purchasing and buying anything. We have stuff they can use for their class. Just come on in, if they can get there 10 minutes early, to get situated, and we look forward to meeting them. That kind of stuff. So if I didn't talk to them on the phone, which was the majority, then I would simply send them a message, for text message after that.
Okay. Well, did you look at the system at all for the people that we were talking with to book appointments? Because we would remind them of their appointment before. All we need to do for you is just to have them call, so they're not getting like tapped on 2 different text messages.
Yeah, I did not use your system. As far as I can be honest, I didn't log in on there. I would use my text messaging. Um, when I messaged them, I used my text messaging. I didn't use your system.
Okay. Man. Okay. Well, there's a lot of opportunity here that was, I think, missed. Just on your end here, but I mean, yeah, I mean, results are looking good. The biggest thing here, from our conversation, I really think the biggest hurdle with you, and just to be transparent, is like, I think bringing more people through the door is going to be great, dude. But I think you need some help with like some of your systems you have in the business, and more specifically, like I think your sales process.
Mhm.
Just really like dialing that in. So like, what does that look like? What are your packages? How much do your packages cost? Making that very simple and straightforward. How do you do discovery? Like, I think we really need to kind of dial that in a little bit more, because I don't think
Mhm.
it's where it needs to be. And then once we have that dialed in, then you can kind of start pouring gas on the fire, and start getting people in the door, and then you can know how to actually close them into your facility, so we can help you reach your revenue goals, right? Because right now you're doing around 10K, and we've talked. I mean, you want to do 20. That's where you want to be, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the sky's the limit, but
The
yeah,
sky's the limit, right?
yeah, I definitely need to do
There's
better.
like a realistic goal, like, in the next like 6-7 months, like I think you can definitely double your business, right? But you got to have like leads aren't going to fix your issue. Parent, what's going to fix your issue is system processes, and knowing how to actually leverage a sales process that convert people into paying clients when they
Mhm.
come in for their offer. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Um, awesome. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about what your sales process looks like. Like when they come in, like what are you doing? Are you
Mhm.
just giving them access to the class? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, if you were to come in my door, and again, we have 2 types of people. One knows what they're doing, the other one has no idea what they're doing. So I ask them every time they come in, so have we trained before? And if the answer is yes, then I'll ask them like, where they do their training before. Now, most people, as soon as they start moving, I know, okay, this person is really a beginner. Like they have no idea what they're doing. They can't even remember how to throw a jab or how to stand correctly. So pretty much right off the bat, I know, even if they tell me they've trained before, when they start moving around, I can know that they do or don't know what they're doing. Um, so then it doesn't really matter. I don't make them feel like, you know, they went to a place they didn't get taught correctly. I just go, okay, great, and I'll just fix what they're doing. But pretty much I'll put you right into class and I'll pair you off with somebody that I think you'll work well with because we work in partners. Um, so right away, whether it's jujitsu or whether it's a boxing class, um, you know, I'll pair you off with somebody and then you'll start working from there. And I'll just start working with you on your fundamentals. Um, so, and then pretty much right when you're done with your class, you know, I'll ask them if they want to stay for the other class, which is either jiu-jitsu or the Muay Thai or boxing. And they'll sometimes say, oh, no, that's it. I was just going to do this one class today. Or, yeah, I can stay for the next one. But whether they stay for one class, two classes, then when they're done, first question is, well, how did you like it? And then they'll say, oh, it was great. Or, yeah, it was good. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I just wonder, how much you guys charge? How does that work? You know, and like right now, what I tell them is, generally your program, I said, fees, you're going to pay $3,600 a year. And if we break that down, generally with your down payment of like, $600, we generally give you, then I show them a list of things they get for free, when they sign up. And this is basically all the equipment uniform you're going to need for your program. Um, depending on what they choose, right? And with this $600 down, it also brings your payments down to $250 a month. But, you know, right now, because a lot of signs, I think I told you I was putting out some bandit signs that say 50% off. So a lot of them, they've already seen those signs or they see it hanging in the school and they go with 50% off stuff. And then I'll say, well, right now, it's actually less than 50% off. I go 50% off and make it down to $1,800 a year. I go, but right now we have a 1260. You pay $260. I go for the whole year. I go, so that's almost a third of our normal, program. So I'll tell them you can do 1260 for the whole year and be done with it and having no, that's like $100 a month. I go, or you can opt to do a different program we're offering and have no money down at all at 225 if you would prefer monthly payments. So they're kind of the options that I give them. Let them know it's $3,600 normally. They can be 1260 and be done with it for the whole year, which is almost breaking it down to a third. Or if they don't have 1260 put down, they can do 225 a month and don't put any money down.
Got it. Okay. So do you have any type of process that you like uncover like why they came in?
Well, yeah, usually when they're when they first, come in, or if I talk to them personally, I'll say, they'll usually tell me like, well, I'm bringing little Johnny in because if he's getting picked on in school, all right? Or some girl will come in and say, well, I need to really get in better shape, lose some weight, you know, or they'll come in and go, man, I want to be a UFC fighter, you know.
Yeah.
So generally they'll bring it. Those are going to be the three main things I hear, right? I want to fight, I've got a bunch of fights I never lost. I think it's the thing for me. The other people usually don't have money. And then we go to the other one and say, well, I'm trying to lose some weight, get in shape. I used to do sports in high school, college, haven't done anything in a while.
Okay.
So, I kind of gauge by that what we're going to do for even the class, right? For the kids, even if we have a kids program, the whole day can be steered around a self-defense class. So, hey guys, you're waiting at the school bus, this happens, that happens. What are you going to do? Somebody comes up and pushes you, what are you going to do? So, those are easy to kind of structure my classes around. And then when they're done, then I kind of gave this parent what they wanted to see, how to look at people in the eye, how to shake their hands, how to walk more confidently. If they're there to lose weight, then we kind of give them a not a difficult technical workout, but more of a moving around a lot, getting them sweating kind of a workout. So those are fairly easy things to address at the beginning. So when they're done, I say, well, do you think this is going to get you in shape? Oh man, yeah, that's a good workout. Or so you see how this could help Johnny, with his confidence and how to depend on himself. Oh yeah. So those are the kind of things that we'll obviously say and talk to them about when class is over. Um,
Right.
so yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So I mean, I definitely see a lot of areas of opportunity there. And it sounds like it's not working. I mean, it hasn't worked well, right, with the people that we've gotten through the door. Or hasn't been working at the the level you truly wanted to work, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Now, when they, let's say you sign somebody up, are you at like, what does your referral process look like? Do you have a point of sale referral process in place?
No, that's where I think I am driving the ball for sure. And I rarely, now, yeah, I say yes and no, right? Because like if, which has worked, right? Let's say this guy has a family of 4 kids, and then generally I'll say, okay, well, I see you're looking to put the kids in. What about you and your wife? And well, we're busy, and she's still taking care of a 6-month-old or whatever. then I'll say, well, the beauty of the program here is that the kids train at 5:30 Tuesday, Thursday, but you and your wife can come in whenever you want, Monday through Sunday, and then I kind of break the schedule down for them. And well, I'll take care of the kids, you'll come in and train, and I can add you guys for, I'll think of something, usually it's kind of up to my discretion, right? At that point, I'll just say, just for any extra $100, you and your wife can train, and they're like, oh, really? Wow. Okay. We'll talk to her about that. Maybe we'll sign up. But, they'll usually sign the kids for sure. And then maybe we add the adults later. But then, a lot of times where I'm, that's why I don't say, well, if you know another family or, another, kid that would benefit from our programs, those are the kind of things I need to push more, which I don't, so definitely know that those are opportunities that I miss, because obviously the ones that are more on fire are the ones who just starting.
Yeah, that's low hanging fruit. You can double your business by just doing that, right? But you got to have the right verbiage and right system in place, like before you do that. But okay, and what like with inside the gym? I mean, like what internal marketing are you doing to your to members? Sounds like we're not doing any type of referrals, or don't have a good process in place for that. But like, what are you? Is there anything else you're doing?
Well, like I said,
Internal
I
marketing?
think last time we talked, I said that a lot of times, we've tried this more than once, which is, um, you know, if you guys refer somebody, um, you know, we'll have a drawing and you win a shirt, you win this, you win that. Or we'll say, okay, if you want to win a free month, or if you want to win a free, you know, 2 months, 3 months, if whatever, you just let us know. You guys have anybody you could think of that would benefit from our program, or I'll say, like, bring a buddy, type week or month or something like that. So we have tried several things. It's just, whether it's, uh, I don't know, what I find strange, and it's true, it's to some degree, is a lot of times, um, like if you ask for, you guys ask for reviews and you got them, right? We literally have we have Yelp, uh, Google, different things on the wall where it says we need your help, and for them to sign in, friend us, and give us a review. But it doesn't happen, or we'll ask them to do it. It doesn't happen. You guys didn't happen. And like I tell my students, sometimes if I'm asking for money, it's, oh, here we go again. They want more money, right? But if somebody else asks them, it's different. So it's almost like I'm removing myself from the money is better.
Well, the texts were coming from you.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I don't know why, right? It's weird if I'm talking and I'm saying something
Yeah, I get.
versus, because it's almost like, yeah, that's
We
one.
got to change. We got to change some things in the business to, like I said, kind of like like some systems in the business. I think there's some really low hanging fruit, like I kind of talked about, like
Mhm,
sales process, referral process, internal marketing.
mhm,
Like once you get the sales process down, you know, you're in a business of sales and marketing. You got to be getting new members, because if you're not getting new members, then you're going to be losing them, and you're going to keep going downhill, which is not where you want to be, right?
all right.
So we got to get you in a spot to where if we bring people through the door, like which we have, you have a process to convert them into a member, extract referrals from them, and then keep them for a very long time. So you can continue to grow and scale your business. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, there's two missing parts from our conversations, right? The sales process, and then, okay, once we have an actual workable sales process, well, how do we get new bodies in the door so you can continue, like I said, to grow and scale?
Mhm.
But we don't want to put people in the door until we have a workable sales process. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely would work. That
Does
is,
that all make sense? Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we've talked about this, like, but I guess how committed are you to really turning this around for your business and to help you hit your goals?
Well, like I said, I'm tired of, uh, staying out late nights, putting up signs in the rain or the cold, and I'm tired of, not being able to, like I said before, cover the bills and being able to relax. Um, so I'm definitely, committed to trying to get the numbers up, for sure.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being like all in, 1 being like not all in, not even close to being in.
Yeah, I'm definitely all in. This is my livelihood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense. And just to kind of rehash the goals, like what are the goals? Because we're doing around 10K a month right now, right? That's where we're at.
Mhm. All right.
Okay.
Well,
And
I
what does
mean,
that look like? Like, what are you taking home after the 10K?
well, yeah, and then, we're doing 10K. I'm probably averaging, around two.
Okay.
Bring home. Which
Okay.
isn't good.
Yeah. And has that put you guys like in a tough spot?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Okay. Where, I mean, and where do you ideally want to be? Where do you want to be revenue wise? And then what do you want to be taking home?
Well, I mean, ideally, like I said, if we're doing around, I'd have to be probably a little lower, about 20, 25K a month. Um, at the point I'll probably be taking home, um, probably 2/3 of that, which
Yeah.
is what we want to be unless we hire help, you know, like, you know, at that
Yeah.
point, like I said, it'll be good to have too much work. We'll have to hire somebody to be a perfect place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a great talk. So you said you'd be taking home like 2/3 of that? What is that, like 18,000 a month?
Yeah, because if I pay the bills, if we don't go any, my overhead it stays exactly where it is now. Um, you know, I would say overhead's probably you know close to 10. Um, so we're doing 25. Which still leaves me with definitely what there's another 10 to take home. Sure, that would be good.
Yeah, I think we'd be on the beach hanging out every day if that's where you were at.
And yeah, exactly. Have a couple of drinks, laugh about how we only had 10K a month. Ha 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 ha. Um, no,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like, I get rid of my Prius with 300,000 miles on it and get something newer.
That'd be
Yeah,
pretty nice. Yeah.
that's my work truck right now. It's my work truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have to basically 2.5x your clientele.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, like for me, the magical number is 180, which is where we were at one point, where life was comfortable. And at 180, I would still like to. The one thing I've never done in my life, which has always been a goal of mine, is to have over 200 students.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have friends that have done it. They have 800, they have 1,000. You know,
Yeah.
they have 1,000, they have 800, they have 3 locations, they have 2 locations, they have locations around the world. And we have conversations all the time. But they definitely obviously have staffs of 5 to 10 people. They have professional salespeople. But that's all things they didn't start off with that, right? They all
Right.
started
We're
off,
gonna start somewhere.
yeah. So those are what you call for me it would be a dream school where I can leave and things are still working without me there versus me having to be there just to make things work, which is where I'm at now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
That
dreaming
makes
is
sense.
I can leave when I want and things still happen.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's any business owner's goal, right?
right. So
Okay.
I
Well, that
don't,
makes
I
sense.
don't,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. So it's just, it'll be good to be able to, even when I leave now, I still am on the phone 24/7 trying to make sure everything gets done. And well, what happened to that person? Did that visitor show up? And on and on and on. So I'd rather just be able to comfortably know things are getting done,
Mm.
and not be worried even if I'm on vacation. Right.
Is that at home too? Like when you're back home with family?
Oh
Hmm. Okay. And how long has that been going on for?
yeah. 10 years.
10 years?
Well, I'm just kidding. We had a little break in the middle. Yeah, like I said, when we were 180 students, which lasted about a little over a year, I was pretty comfortable. I was pretty relaxed. Um, but once we started dropping down to about 120, then I started stressing, going, okay, what's going on here? And then we got down to 80, and then it just got really bad. So, um, there are things that's out of our control, right? We can't control things like COVID. But then there's things that, you know, uh, that are missing because there should be, and of course, like you were saying, my online presence, uh, people started just taking over, and I didn't move from where I was, uh, because I don't, get enough. I don't ask enough, right, for the reviews. I don't do those things, right, that need to be done. So I think that, and then most of my people are volunteers, right? My wife, my daughter, and they get burned out. They got a full time job, then they got to come help me for free, and then it turns into be another labor, another job, another stress on them, which is not fair to them. So I definitely want to get something that we can afford to have somebody that's their job. That's why they're doing it, and they want to keep their job. Uh, so we definitely want to get to that point where I'm able to tell my wife, my daughter, they can help if they want, we don't have to. We got somebody else for that. You know, um, that's not where we are now. So I'm definitely going to ask to go all in. I'm definitely all in. I just you know, uh, it's overwhelming. I guess you could say sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, trying to.
I get it. I get it. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Especially when you're doing everything yourself, it's definitely overwhelming. But that's why, at the end of the day, we're here as an extension of your business to help. But just to kind of recap all this, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, we've got to change something in the business, right, to get you out of this rat race, out of this hole, so you can not be in the business. You can be working on the business. You don't have to have your family volunteer. You can have people in place to actually run it. But I mean, I think based on conversation we've had, I mean, something's got to change, right, for you to get there.
Right.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, what? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Well, I appreciate you going through that. Is there anything else you feel like you gotta, kind of bring up to speed on? We have had a couple conversations about this at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else
No,
you think
no, I
of?
mean, um, I mean, what is true is it's a, I used to laugh, but because these guys who are now, who, like say I knew a guy who's a fighter, and then whenever I go to his business, and he would listen to him talk, we kind of both read the same thing, saw the same thing. Um, it was a salesperson telling you how to make money doing martial arts, and I thought it sounded kind of fake and kind of funny, and that was silly. Well, he starts doing it, and he became successful, But I'm like, yeah, but I can't see myself doing that, right? So, and then they would always tell me, don't waste time on fighters. Don't have any money. Well, I worked with fighters most of my life, and so I never had any money. And until I got rid of them, I actually started making more money, you know. And it's true to this day. If most 99% of the people come to the door say they want to fight or they are fighters, have no money, and they take up 100% of your time, and you make no money off of them. And so everybody told me that, the successful martial artists for years, and they'd say, look, let that be your passion, but don't, and your what you enjoy doing, but don't let that be your business because you're not going to make money. Make your money first, then you can have fighters, and that'd be your fun thing to do. But that's not where you're making money. And it took me, like I say, you can either do it the hard way, the easy way, or the hard way. And I always choose the hard way for some reason. I didn't change how I said things when people came in the door, and change how I talked to them, and I watch my friends do it, and I think they look so silly. Whoop. That's up. But well, I believe there is something to how to say stuff to get a better result. Um, you know, definitely. And then I think there's, the wrong way to say something. Visually look at the wrong result. So I really believe, after seeing it, and, like I said, I knew some extremely successful guys, and I'd watch them talk to people. And one guy, he'd pull people in the office while I'm there. And he'd say, oh, hey, this is my really good friend. You mind telling to get started? Oh, I think I put down $8,000, and now I'm paying. I put my mouth open. I'm like, what the heck? You put down that much money? And then, you signed your family up. Yeah, how much did you start off? Oh, we paid $12,000 to start, and then we put another five for the university that we're taking to become instructors. And I'm like, going, how do these people do this? You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, and then they turn to me and he said, you see, hey, you're a way better martial artist than me, but yet I'm making way more money than you. Why is that? And I go, I don't know. I really wish I knew how you're doing it. But yeah, you just get the people coming off and just throw out some obscene numbers, and they're happy and they're excited and they're like, and I'm like, wow.
The sales and marketing business, Rudy, like we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any brick and mortar business, Jim, it's a sale. We got to have our sales down. We got to have our marketing down, and then we got to have the process to get results. But that makes complete sense. Well, do you have a couple more minutes here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I've got till 3:30. But awesome. Well, this really helps, and I appreciate you sharing all this.
Mhm.
I know Jacob kind of spoke with you about this, but just to kind of give you, just a little bit of an overview, right, of our company. So we are a marketing and consulting company, and one of my partners owns 127 training style and membership based facilities. He owns them all across the world. So what we do is essentially high level. We install those exact same systems into our client system so they can actually create a business, right, that
Mhm.
works without them. But there's definitely some things where we have to put in place before we hit that part. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, based on where you're at, you're right around 60 clients right now. You want to get to 180. That's basically going to triple your business. Like we talked about, we've got to change something, Freddie. We've got to change
Mhm.
something in the business for you to get there. Just realistically, if I'm just going to be your coach and be honest with you, like we're gonna have to change something, right? I mean, because
Right.
what we're doing now is not working.
Right.
So for you, I think it's gonna be a little bit unique situation, but it's gonna be really 4 or 5 steps, okay, to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. Now, I do want to preface this by before I go in, it's gonna take longer, for you to 3x your business happen within 1 month, within 2 months, within 3 months. Like that is just unrealistic to say. It's gonna probably take 9 to 12 months, right? Because that is some serious growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, like I said, for you, it's gonna be 4 or 5 things to help you get to where you want to get. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of a start to it. Now, the first thing that we want to install in your business, like I talked about, is gonna be a simple sales process. Okay.
because we talked about it literally 30 minutes ago. We brought in people, but from what you told me, right, we had 3 or 4 people come in. We had no conversions on those people. It's nothing against you, right? We just need to have a solid process in place to turn a prospect that's interested in your facility into a paying client. So you can actually get paid what you are worth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because there's no need to turn on marketing until you actually have a solid foundation, which is a sales process and what you're offering. And you hit the nail on the head, right? You need to have an offer that speaks to everybody, not just to fighters, right? We want to be bringing in people that want to see a health and fitness change, and then you provide that solution to them. But that's the first step: is installing our sales process that we created across our 127 facilities into your business, okay, so that you can have something to rely on. So when people come in, you actually know how to close them, okay, and make money from them.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, on top of that, too, I didn't really cover it, but there's a lot more systems in place that we can put in place on top of sales. We can put in point of sale referral processes, internal marketing processes. We can put in renewal processes, retention strategies, hiring strategies, right? A lot more business strategies into your business to help you actually scale. Because once you start getting customers, right, you're going to have to put in other systems so you can continue to scale without those people leaving and hire people to get them up to speed in your business quick to grow up and scale. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. So that first thing is a sales coaching, okay? Now, once we have the sales coaching down, we've got our offer down, we have our, we've got the process on how to convert those people in sales. Now we need to start putting people in your door so you can actually start making money, right? Because we're not going to go from 60 to 180 people without marketing and sales, right? So we're going to turn on our marketing machine that we've developed at the 127 locations we own and operate. It's held over 1,000 facilities, grown scale our business. And we're going to turn that paid marketing system to basically run ads in your local market to get them to book and show for an appointment so that you don't have to yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Obviously, the benefit of this is that you're not having to do it yourself, and all you have to do is close the lead into the facility, which we're going to show you how to do because we don't have a process in place to do so right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any questions about this?
No, not so far.
Okay. The next step to this, okay, is once we, install the sales process into your system, we get people in the door so you can actually make sales and grow the business. The next thing that we're going to do is have you do is while you're taking those appointments, record the conversation that you're having and then have bi-weekly one-on-one calls with our sales coaches and experts on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Okay. So you can actually know from your feedback on what to take out and what to put in to improve your process, to increase your conversion percentage, to convert as many of these people that are coming in your facility into a member. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the third thing. Okay. The fourth and final thing for okay, is once we get the sales process down, start getting a ton of people in the door. Okay, we refine the sales process once we have people in the door. There's really 2 things we got to do from here. Number one, we got to keep scaling, okay, the business, which is getting more people. But then the second thing is while you get more people, we got to start putting in more systems and processes, right? So you can actually take on this load. So we'll talk about hiring a trainer, helping you hire a coach or instructor, right? What that process looks like. Putting in our system on how to retain these people the best way possible, right? All those systems that you need to really scale and take your business to the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those are the 4 steps right there. Okay. Do you have any questions on those 4 things?
No, not really. Yeah, no.
Makes sense. Okay. So based on that process and that system, I mean, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 about the process? 10 being like it's what you need to get you where you want to go, and then 1 being like, man, this is not very good. I don't like this guy. Get him off the phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I said, even though, like it says, I've heard a lot of things, right? Because I've been trying to do this for many years, but I tend to, I guess but they make fun of people when we used to be in school. We tell people they take the short bus. You know what that means?
Yeah. Between you and I know what that means. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm on the short bus when it comes to learning how to run a business because I seem to be doing it the hard way, and because I've heard everything, right? I've heard that, it's not the um, uh, it's not information, it's implementation that I'm failing with, right? I have all the information. I've been to Zig Ziglar's, sales programs, and I've listened to his tapes, and I've learned all that. And it's like he said, if you don't have a plan or a direction of where you're going, he goes, there's no one person who's made it to the top. And they ask him, well, how'd you get here? And he said, oh, I don't know. I just started wandering around and somehow ended up here on top. He goes, no, they actually they knew where they were going. They had a direction. They had a map. They knew exactly where they needed to go and how to get there. And that's what people fail to do, is set up a line of what step by step where they're going and how to get there.
Exactly.
And
That's
so,
exactly what this is going to help you do, is keep you
Right.
accountable, because it sounds like you might have an idea of what you need to do, but you keep falling off, right? You don't keep
Yeah.
not executing. And that's, execution beats strategy, beats people that are smart all the time. But you
Mhm.
got to execute.
right.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
complete sense. So it
Mhm.
sounds like, how do you feel about the process that we just went over? You feel pretty good about it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I tell people, and it's got to be true, right? I could get online right now, and I've seen it, and I've been through it, right? You'll have one person who says, "Oh, best thing to do," and I'm proof of it because I have $1 million in school, is you tell people what you charge up front. Why hide it? Then I have people who say, "Well, we may have $1 million schools, and we never tell anybody what it costs to get them in before we get them in the door." So, who's right? They both have $1 million schools. They both have opposite beliefs. And I tell people, I'm sure it all works. You just got to work the system. Whatever system they're using works for them, works for their personality, works for, it obviously works so it wouldn't be successful. They wouldn't have multi-million-dollar schools. I go, so I believe they're both right. You just got to have a system that works and make it work. So yeah, I mean, I believe you have the steps in place and you follow the system should take care of itself.
100%. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just a matter of following. It's all about coachability, really. Coachability and implementation. If you're
Right,
not going to be coachable and you're not going to be you're not going to be taking action, like nothing's going to work for you, right?
right,
I like to tell our clients, it's like, I can lead a horse that is just like the most thirsty horse in the world. I can lead it to like the most fresh lake or river to, for them to take a drink, but I cannot force that horse to take a at the end of the day.
right,
Right?
right.
So it's, it's got to be a two-way street, just like your marriage, just like, it's got to be a two-way street, right? You got to be both in it to win it together. It can't be one-sided.
Right.
Got it. That
Mhm.
makes sense. Cool. So that's the process. That's kind of the plan that I developed for you based on where you're at, where you want to get to, right? You want to go from the 60 members you're at now to 180. Obviously, something's got to change, and that process has really worked well for a lot of people that have been in similar spots to you, to get them there. So, I mean, really, from is to just get you into this program, okay? Go over the pricing, go over the terms, and then getting you set up on your onboarding call.
Mhm.
So we can get you on board in the system, very similar to what you went through with me. And that onboarding call actually be with me again as well. And I'll have one of my coaches on there that actually has scaled from 1 to 11 fitness locations over the last 10 years with this exact disease I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Those are the next steps. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
No, at this point, no. I mean, obviously, the big one's going to be cost, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. So and I want to help you out. But I know our system works because we've done it with over 1,000 locations across the country.
Mhm.
So, from where you're at now, you want to go from 60 members, obviously that 180, so we can get you out of the rat race and actually build a business, right? So we can be making money and get out of that stress, right? So to take you from where you're at to where you want to be is a 3-month commitment of $3,000 over the 3 months. So normally we charge $1,500 per month.
Mhm.
But I want to help you out and give you a discount with Christmas coming along and the New Year coming. This is like the perfect time to get you rolling. So it's really just comes down to $1,000 per month.
Okay. All right.
Cool. And
All
then
right.
plus, right, we've got to plus the ad spend that we would be spending once we get the sales process in place, which would probably come out month 2,
Mhm.
closer to month 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
it.
All right. So we're looking at 1,000 a month plus the ad spend. What do y'all recommend on the ad spend?
Yeah, it varies. I mean, it really does vary, because what we normally do, before we turn on any ads, before we set a budget, okay, for you with as far as ads is concerned, we do a market test, and we'll do a market test of anywhere from we'll spend like $250 to $500 to kind of see where your market's at and how much we need to spend, because your market is different than my market in Sarasota, Florida, and we want to make sure that we're giving you a budget, right, that's helping you hit your goals at the end of the day, right? That's what we want to do. So, yeah, we'll first start out the market test, and we can start out usually with about 250.
About 250.
Yep, to kind of see where we need to go. But yeah, that is the that's the program. So are you ready to get rolling?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it's more of I gotta take what we've been able to make right now. Like, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I told you, but I didn't. At where we're at now, the property rent just signed a new lease, and they increased it substantially. And so I'm trying to make sure that we have enough to cover it. And we literally biting our nails until the check clears, which is on the 5th of the month. Write the check on the 5th, and it usually clears within a day or two. And that's obviously our number one goal every month, is to make sure that check clears. And along with the other things, just simple stuff, right? Electric, phone service, internet, insurance, those kinds of things, are all at the beginning of the month. And so we just, are crossing our fingers that when the rent check actually hits the bank, that there's money in there to cover it. That's where we are now, financially. So I know that it would be, and I'm just trying to think here, because even between now and New Year's, because of the way the holidays are falling and school, the number of days we're going to be open to be in, for me to actually make any money. I think we're going to be open Monday, and then most everybody and their mother is going to be gone. So we're not even going to be open the following week, except for maybe a Friday after between New Year's and Christmas. And then we'll be closed the following week up until, I think it's okay, so there's very few working days to actually collect any money or have anybody come visit. The days are going to be very, very limited. So financially, like I said, I'm going to see what I can do, just to make sure we have the rent and bills covered. So right now, I can't, let's say, today, this minute, I can look over the numbers, kind of talk to my wife and see what we have, to do, and what but at this moment, I would say that we probably need to see how those few days that we're open, how they work, right? Do we have anybody come in? Can we make a sale, and, can we do something with our finances, make sure we have enough to cover everything? Since, like I said, well, I know for a fact we're going to have people lose their credit card and not get a new one till the new year. So they're not even come through in December,
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, So I'm just trying to be honest with you right now, just because we were trying to figure out. We have a belt test, and we have an adult testing for brown and another adult testing for black, and those are going to be two separate tests. And then we have the kids testing. And I was trying to squeeze it in December, and we just didn't have the days were not working out for anyone. So now, between now and New Year's, the days are worse. So school starts back up, I think, on the 6th or the 5th or something like that, for all the kids and for everybody to go back to work. So the 6th, I believe, is a Monday or 5th. Yeah, I think it's 6th. So we won't even get back into the swing of things until, the rent check will probably be clearing on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, just now, it could be shocked, right? Because, like I said, we've had a lot of people said they're coming in, haven't come in, they could come in, and I could meet at the school, and they're ready to get started, and they saw our great special, they want to do it, So theoretically, we could have, somebody throw down $1,260, we could use to go towards, what we're talking about now.
Yeah, this all makes sense. If we're going to be doing business together, we've got to be obviously transparent with each other, right? And
Yeah, right.
I know for sure that we can help you out. Finances aside, Rudy, is this what you know you need to help you get to where you want to get to?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And right now, like we talked about it, you're bringing in about, it sounds like $250 a month, or sorry, not about $2,000 a month take home.
Right.
Okay. So look, okay, I normally don't do this for people, but I want to make sure that we can help you out, because I know that we can help you out. We both agreed, if we don't change anything, your situation is not going to change, right? You're going to be exactly where you're at, not where you want to be, not where you want to be. You're going to be right where you're at, and that's not where you want to be for you. And I don't want that for you at the end of the day. So what I can't do is instead of charging the full 1,000 today, I can simply just I can literally break that down to as low as $200 today, get you in the system, get over the agreement, get that signed, get the 200 a day, and then get your onboarding call scheduled for next week. That way we can start getting the sales process in place. Then you can go through our training, and then we can turn on ads probably soonest probably right then, like the second week of December. So we can just continue, so we can actually start getting people to the door, and you can capitalize on like the best time of the year. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that's fine. That's doable.
Okay, well, let's do that, because again, I don't want that to be a deciding factor for you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this up and send this over to you right now. And so 1,000. I'm just going to edit this agreement for you. 250. Okay. So let's go through this real quick. I'm going to send this over, and then we can go from there. But it's everything we talked about. So it's the marketing. We continue to reviews for you. And then the done for you paid advertising, the AI fall, we get them in the door, and then our coaching program, right? To actually help you with the sales process to convert those people into clients. So like I said, it's a 3-month program, $1,000 a month. Today we're not going to obviously collect the full 1,000. We're just going to do the 250 to get you in the system, and then so we can get the onboarding call. But I'm going to get this sent over to you on HelloSign, and then the 250 that we want to get today, this rolling, so we can get this rolling as fast as possible. Do we want to use the same card we have on file? Yeah, let me see. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and use that one.
Okay. Perfect. Let me go ahead and send this over to you, and then let me get the best one.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me get that copied. You have any plans for the weekend?
Longhorn games on Saturday, so watching that. And then after that, I don't really think I have anything too crazy. Like I said, we'll probably watch the Dallas game, but we're not. If they have any more games coming up that I haven't, I don't have my fingers crossed for anything for them. So just the Longhorn. Primarily
I'm a Colts fan, so I'm right there with you. I'm a Colts fan. Yeah.
I don't know.
Where you're at.
I don't know what to take anymore. I'm like every year it's like this is the year. No, not the year.
Yep, that's how it is for me too. As a Colts fan, but I sent it over to your email. Can you? Yeah, you can read through it. I mean, I went through it with you. If you could just put a signature on that, and then you told me that the okay. All right, let me get that real quick, and then we're just gonna do the 250 today, and then really before we launch our ads, we'll collect just the rest of that, and then the market test as well.
Okay.
All righty. I am pumped to get you rolling here. Very, very, very excited. You're gonna love Brandon.
All right, excellent. I love anyone who can help me.
Yeah. Yes. That is the goal. Awesome. You got that signed. Perfect. Okay. So that will be great. So what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna book your onboarding with Brandon. I'm gonna process the payment for just 250 today. So I'll show you that today. So just we're on the same page. Just a 250 day, and then we'll do the rest before you start, which is 750. When we launch your ads, which will probably be about 2.5 weeks from now. But again, we got to get the sales process in place first.
Okay.
But what I want to do now is I actually want to book you with Brandon for an onboarding call. And I want to get you going as fast as possible. So are you available on Monday at 1 or 12, 11:30 your time?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. I will be on that call with you guys, and we will go from there.
All right, perfect. I do have a funny little story real quick. How y'all were sending stuff to everybody on that list that I sent you?
Yeah.
Well, the guy who was doing business with me for 3 months that didn't get me anybody in the door, he didn't do nothing but take my money. He's on that list. I guess I don't know how he got on there, but he's on there. And then he's like, "Oh, I already told you guys to take me off my list. The list. Can you please quit sending me stuff? And or I'll report you or something crazy like that." So I thought that was kind of funny. He got all mad. Somebody else is doing business, taking over his business, so he's mad. But yeah, he was on there, so yeah, it made me laugh. He was like all being all threatening.
Well, now you're with someone who actually cares about your business, is going to help you get to where you want to get. So that is funny.
Yeah. Then he thought about him, so he mentioned he sent that over. I was like, cracking up.
That is funny.
I'll take you out right now. I don't care. Oh man, that was funny.
That is funny. Well, a couple of more things real quick here. so we can get you rolling here on Monday. What is going to be the, what's the club? What is the, let me see here. What is the gym phone number?
The one you called me.
Okay. And then what's the owner's phone?
Me? This one? Same one?
It's
Would be it. Bro. See.
okay. Let me just look this up. So Vasquez,
Yeah, Vasquez.
okay, yeah, I got it here. I just got to put this form through so we can get you rolling. Your onboarding is going to be on Monday, and that's going to be again at. Did you get that invite? It's going to be at
12:30. 12:30 or 11:30?
12. So 11:30 your time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it does say December 23rd onboarding, but it doesn't say time or anything.
It should be December 22nd at. It should be 12:30. So 11:30 your time.
It says 23rd here, December 23rd.
Oh, just yeah, the 23rd. You're correct. Yes, that's my apologies there, and I have the wrong form. So let me get this reset here. Okay, awesome. Well, that's it. So you'll just be on the lookout for, and then we will jump on Monday at 12:30.
All right, guys. So that is how to upsell your current AI agency clients to make them worth a lot more money. Now, like I said at the very start of the video, I'm looking to sell my AI agency gym members now within the next 2 to 5 years and ultimately make it worth a lot more money. And the way that I can do that is by simply partnering up or rolling up with other people like yourself who successfully start, grow, and scale their own AI agency to be doing some really solid numbers. So if you want help on how to do that and work with my team directly to give you the exact same systems, frameworks, and really a clear roadmap on how to start, grow, and scale this business, then go ahead and click the link below in the description and apply to work with my team. And on the call, we'll see if you could be a potential good fit. Now, if not, no worries. I hope you got a value from the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.